My guest for the morning is Adam Mutawakilu. He's a member of parliament for Damango, and I'm sure during the youth time may have gone to his constituency to do some work. Yeah. How are you, Carlos?
I'm doing great.
All right. And topically this morning is a subject of the petroleum price hikes, not only on the normal fuel we have, but also the other petroleum products. And fortunately, he's are you the acting chairman or vice chairman? Vice chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Well, it's not as if he's the petroleum minister, though. But let's look at this. Let's look at this. The government is expected to meet apparently organized labor later today to discuss concerns raised over the recent utility price hikes. And we know that the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, they announced an increment of some 59.2% in tariffs for water and also 67.2% for electricity. And apparently organized labor is also not happy. And we know this also comes within the period when we've had the increment in petroleum prices as well.
The energy sector levy bill that was passed into act. Yes. It is true that I think PURC is the mandatory body in terms of economic aspect of the electricity that is setting up the tariffs. And before they came out, they had extensive consultation with stakeholders. And it's always good that they act neutral. They will listen to those who generate, distribute, and transmit. Generation, distribution, and transmit from one side, and then stakeholders and consumers from the other, and look in between with their own analysis, and independent analysis will come out with the appropriate tariffs. I think the generators and the Gridco and ECG, they were, and Ghana Water Company, they were demanding between 129 and 400%. And TUC said about 50, but eventually it came 59.2 and 67.2 for water and electricity, respectively. And it is the way TUC is going about it, I'm quite happy, because they are using the necessary structures. Consulted the government, the Minister for Labor, Honorable Haruna Idris, who will be meeting them on the 5th, and that is the best way to go forward. But electricity, as we know, we have had challenges over the period. That is rightly so. And the President is much concerned about that and willing on the dock to fix it. However, there are challenges. One is whether the tariff is realistic, is one. Whether we're able to collect the necessary revenue that is expected by ECG is another. So if we generate electricity and we don't pay relative tariffs, they are not able to pay the producers of the power, then they will not be able to generate.
Well, we do understand that point. And we know that the utility providers, they appear before your committee.
The utility, okay. ECG,
VRA,
Gridco. They appear before
Ghana Water. Okay.
Ghana Water is not within our committee.
Okay.
Yes.
But did they continuously insist that the current tariffs we as consumers are paying are not enough?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You're serious about that?
They are doing serious under-recovery. Yes, there is serious under-recovery. One, the tariffs are low. Two, most of the parts that they buy are dollar denominated. And for some time now, we know this. Recently, the cedi has been stable for some time, and the cedi has not been very stable. But that is not the major. The major one is the fact that the tariffs that we pay, they are doing so much under recovery. Yes.
Okay.
So there was the need to see how realistic it will be. However, PURC has the mandate to determine, and therefore has come out with this. Two, we must ensure that it is high time we don't always rely on government in respect of subsidies. We need to move forward as a nation.
You mean as far as cushioning ourselves in the payment of the tariffs?
Yes.
Okay.
Government always coming in to cushion. And that is why government is moving in to do a lot of restructuring. One, in terms of generation, the government, the president has proposed and has made it a State of the Nation's address that the thermal should be separate and hydro separate. That is, Bui, Pong, and VRA should come under one umbrella, while the thermal plants come under one. 2, in terms of distribution, we are currently doing what we call concession. The process is ongoing under MIDA, and it is hopeful that in the nearby future, we'll have the concession whereby efficiency will be injected into the distribution. Gridco is changing most of the transmission lines to ensure that technical losses is reduced to the minimum. Losses as a result of transmission of the power. So it is reduced to the minimum. So there is a lot of transformation that is going on in the power sector. And in the near future, all what we're going will be a thing of the past.
Very interesting comment. But as far as we're concerned, despite all the things that we say, that you as the committee members and those experts out there keep telling us about under recovery, which is very steep or high, the ordinary Ghanaian is burdened with some of these increments.
Yes, it is always a two-way affair.
Which is?
Yes.
Us paying, and then they're also getting what they are doing?
That is, if we under-recover to a certain extent, it will have consequences. Your business you want to run, you have problems with that, you cannot get your income. So which one do you go? Do we say, let's pay less, and even we cannot generate, or we pay more and we get, and I like the statement they made that they need reliable supply of power. I think that is very critical, and the government is working to ensure that there is reliability. Over the past 1 week, I've realized that there's some stability and in the electricity that we receive in our homes.
So it means that with
the coming in of the power badge and then the Emery coming on board with Pond Thermal Plant, that will be coming soon. I think this power load shedding we have will be reduced to the minimum. Yes.
Well, we'll see how that goes, because now we know that there's been an increment following the introduction of what we call the energy levy. Is that it?
Yes.
The energy levy in Parliament.
Yes.
And apparently that has resulted in an increment in petroleum prices or petroleum product prices ranging between 18 and some 27%. Yeah. And for those of us who visit the pumps, we get to have a feel of it. But apparently some commercial transport operators and even those who tend to patronize them also are not too happy about it. We went to the street, we got some of those voices, and so would want to play some of those inserts for you. Please take a watch, and then we'll come back and do the discussions.
I think we have make our mind that even if they won't increase itself, we are going to increase it tomorrow. And we have to make it. Now we are taking, let's say, from here to Osu is 230. So we make our mind that at be the point of the day, we are going to add 20% to it to become 250.
But what if after the meeting they decide that the fares should still be retained without any increase?
Oh, I don't think they will say so. And if it comes so, we have to take our mind. We make our minds so big.
Okay. Now, let's say that it has been increased. How do you think it will affect your business? Do you think the patronage will be the same? Will people still be taking the taxis like normal?
Well, it depends the place that we are going. You see, maybe sometimes we used to get dropping. So if you are going far away from this place, we know how to charge. But the law fare there, we have compulsory the real charge of it.
So they can complain. They will complain, but yes, as soon as we increase it, there's nothing to change the knowledge. Into a time, they will bring the rare fee. That's the way.
So you are not worried that it will affect your business?
No. If I buy my petrol, the person came, my car was parked, I haven't spoiled my fuel. So I'll wait till the time the car should be full out. Or I get a drop in and I find my way. When I charge you, you accept it, I will take you along. If you don't accept it, my car is there. That's all.
The old fare, we are collecting the old fare.
Okay. So it means that nothing has changed. How much were you charging previously?
Okay, now from here to Afla, we collect 20 Ghana.
20 Ghana.
And then Akachi, we collect 150.
And as at 5 p.m., you haven't changed it?
No, we didn't change anything. So now we are waiting. They say they will change it for us. So we are waiting for them. If information come, and then we know how to take our course.
The layman cannot afford it. You know, the ordinary people cannot afford it. It's only those who have traveled and those who are doing a lot of business that will be able to afford it. So it looks like people are suffering, really, really suffering. You know? Yeah.
Now, you're saying that people are suffering, but from tomorrow, there's a likelihood that it will be increased again because fuel prices are up. Now, looking at that, would you still be taking taxis?
No, even when I arrived, I've not been taking taxis. I've been trying to take the trotro because that's what I can afford. You know, because if you concentrate on the taxi, if you don't take care, whatever you are coming to do in the country, you can't do it because you spend all your money on taxis. You know, so yeah, so no, unless wherever I'm going, the trotro is not able to get there, then I'll, you know, try to take a taxi. But if trotro is able to get there, I'm going to take trotro.
Well, so normal commuters saying that prefer to take trotro, but it's still very expensive and all. But let's talk about this very increment, ranging between 18 and 27%. And is the energy levy that you passed in Parliament before you went on recess?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Thank you very much. The energy levy, it was not first of all, the Select Committee of Mines and Energy. It deals with money, and that one, it goes to the Finance Committee. But when it came to Parliament, we look at it, and the first thing is that we have had this thing operating for some time, electric sector bill, like the road fund levy is 7 pesos per litre, which is used to open up most of the roads to rural areas. And we are all aware that as an MP, for example, I will wish that some of my roads are constructed, especially Busunuk, Dendelempa, Kotitu number 2 to Kojokura, and then Achulokura, then Kotitu number 2 to Barge and Poposo. How do we get it done? We get it from the levies. However, the 7 pesos per litre is woefully inadequate. And as a result, there is a huge debt of over 700 million. And therefore, for us to ensure that these other places get access to good roads and to be able to improve the local economy in terms of agricultural produce and other things, there was the need to add something to it. Even though it has an impact, and we know it will, not everybody is more comfortable with that because it has some pinch on all of us. At the same time, it is going to provide access routes and open up other areas whereby fine produce can easily be cut to the commercial centers. If these are able to be done, the cost of food will decline. So you realize that in a way it will compensate in another way. So we look at it in a broader form, and we thought that there was the need to consider it for development purpose.
But
yes,
the increment, according to the critics, is very steep. Even to get to the maximum of 27%, has a lot of ramification on other related sectors. And we know that petroleum and the way it operates in our country.
Yeah, it has an inelastic demand. And that means that you can't opt out. You can't decide that because of the increase in petroleum product, I'll walk from Nsawam to Accra.
No, that doesn't mean that government has to take advantage of us.
No, but I'm just giving, I know. But we must also bear in mind that even Saudi Arabia, which is the world largest producer of oil, recently last week has increased their petroleum prices.
Well, we do understand. They are also in a peculiar situation because they've had a budget deficit of over $90 billion US.
We believe that, I'm still coming about some, it's $98 billion, yes. They have increased it by 40%. That is to be able to set off their deficit of $98 billion. That's the world's largest producer of oil. And if we come to Ghana, ours is to raise and develop. I believe that it has a counter. Yes, we feel the pain, but at the same time, we ensure that development goes on. Because when we develop to a certain extent, it will benefit all of us, and everybody will be happy. And that is the distance. As to the rate, I don't know. We have approved the figures, and I think it's based on that the ministry, the government has come up with the increment per each of the items. So we know it will have some hardship.
It will have
Ghanaian,
some,
but at the same time,
it's going to have a lot of hardship, Honorable Mutawakilo.
a lot of hardship. Yes.
You don't think so?
I know it will have a hardship, but we should look at the positive aspect of that. By paying this, you are contributing to developing routes to other areas that doesn't have access routes. So we look at it from one side, you look at it from the other side. So I'm doing this because it will have a positive impact on some people who don't have access route. As a result, farm producers have been locked up. We are not being able to cut them to the commercial sector, would bring about fall in the price of food, which will invariably affect us positively. So, yeah, we should look at it from that. While we look at this, we look at the impact that it will have on us as well.
But the MPP, they've been reacting to this very increment. And Nana Kumia is the Director of Communications for the party. Well, we went to his office, interviewed him, and this is what he had to say.
This is about the people of Ghana and their welfare. It's not about the MPP, it's not about the NDC. So I'm calling on the people of Ghana to rise against this. Now, you talk of minority in parliament. You know how parliament works. It's the majority to have their way. So they come and they say, after the debate, they say, those in favor say aye. So they say aye. Those not in favor say no. No. The ayes have it. And that's the end of the matter. Put the taxes on the things that the rich people consume. Whiskey, cigarettes, cognac, V8. Put the taxes there. You go and put tax on water. 60% tariff increase, water. And you see, the petrol one, what makes it more annoying and full of impunity is that all over the world, prices of petrol are being reduced. Even in the very rich countries in Europe, prices of petrol are being reduced because the price of oil has fallen to about $35, the lowest in a long time. And you know, there are two main things that determine the price of petrol in Ghana. The first one is the price of oil on the international market. Whether the oil is $40, $50, $60. You can't do anything about it. The second one is the price of the dollar in Ghana. So in Ghana, in the last 2-3 months, the price of the dollar has been stable. It's been about 3 cedis 80 pesos to the dollar. In the last at least 2 months, it's been stable. On the international market, last year by this time, the oil was selling at about $100 a barrel. Today, as we speak, it's about $35 a barrel. So the price of the oil is coming down, and the price of this dollar is stable. So all over the world, the price of petrol is going down. Only in Ghana. Now, if you are the government, the price of oil has come down. By now, by what they call the automatic adjustment formula, petrol should be selling at about $8 or 9 cedis a gallon. From 12, should be selling at about 8 or 9 cedis because of the fall in the price of oil. Now, you don't reduce it. You don't even maintain it at 12 cedis. You have rather increased it to 15 cedis. When the price of oil has come down, everybody is expecting a relief. They don't give the relief. They rather increase it. You see, so it is clear case of impunity. Look at the hardship that is going to be visited on Ghanaians.
Nana Kumia, Director of Communications for the MPP, and he was speaking to our crew who had just gone to his office to speak to him on this very subject. But he made succinct points. The international world price for crude and Brent, I mean, hovering around, yesterday I think by close of day was around 37.04. It depends on which of the two you are looking at. And averagely, that should also result in some reductions, especially also looking at the fact that we just started implementing not too long ago the automatic adjustment formula, so to speak. Now you come and add another levy.
Thank you very much. I think he got confused as when international oil prices decline, and you decline, when you put in an increase in levies, they are two different things.
Well, they are two different
For
things.
example, when as a result of the deregulation, as the prices of oil decline, the various OMCs equally reduces the prices. And it was announced every week or so, and they will always tell us which station to go for fueling. And that's been. Sometimes it was Fragile or something that was on one other time. They will always. But because it's deregulated, it is continuous.
It's not
and therefore, we don't feel it like MPA coming up. But this is as a result of increase in tariffs to rake in more revenue for development. And that is what I just said. It is not all over the world prices of this thing. In Saudi Arabia, it has gone up by 40%. So he should delink, let's say, because of fall in this, and the levies.
So now that the levies have come in, do I get the understanding that we're not going to be benefiting from the automatic adjustment formula, or we will only be benefiting if the international price decreases further?
Once the international oil price fall, the deregulation will still go on.
Yes, so it means that we'll see some significant drop. Because the levy will be constant.
The levy will be fixed, and deregulation will work.
But if we have 37, how low can we get the oil price pegged internationally on the commodities market than this? How low, Honorable?
Yeah, but the prices are declining. That is what I'm saying. Okay, so we need to delink the two.
Well, we have to take a break. When we come back, we'll be inviting into the discussion Samuel Ayepe. He's a member of parliament for Ayinswano. He's around, and so we would want to invite him into the discussion. He'll have his say. And then we'll move on to a subject of the Electoral Commission and how it has accepted a report of the eminent persons who were put together to look into concerns raised by the MPP and other pressure groupings and NGOs about the voters register we have for the 2016 general elections. Do stay on.